Hello and welcome to day 8 of our Christmas series. Today we're making transparent cards and tags. The cards are ATC size. You can make these in whatever size you like, and I've made it in a tag just to show you a variation in this. But making them in the ATC size, they make up really quickly. I've used 3 or 4 colours in this one. So if you've got some red and yellow and green, you'll be able to follow along if you've got some alcohol inks. I got my inspiration to make these cards from Rika Kovasin. She's on YouTube. I put her link in the description box below. Her tags are a vintage bottle theme. Go and check them out. Oh, so just a heads up, her video is not in English. So let's get started. I'm using the overhead transparencies. So they're just a clear sheet. You'll need your template. So we've got the card size and we've got a little tree that we're going to be using for embossing. You'll need some alcohol inks to colour your transparencies. And you'll need some embossing powder. You'll need some rubber stamps for the background, and we're using the Versamark watermark ink. And you'll need some old book pages. If you've got something Christmas style, that'll work, but if not, it doesn't really matter, just as long as you've got a background paper. Print this out on 200 GSM. This is your template. And you'll need your template to cut out your ATC transparent cards. These trees here are your actual embellishment trees. You're going to use those with embossing powder or ink if you don't use embossing powder. So as many cards as you're doing, cut out the same amount of trees. Once you've got your template cut out, just use that to put on your transparency, and it fits 3 across this way on an A4 sheet, and just cut out as many as you want to make. So I've cut out 3 of the ATC size cards. Now if you don't want to cut out the ATC card style and do this, you can do it in a tag. I'm going to cut out my tag using my clear templates in the biggest size, and it's ironic, but this is a clear tag template and I'm going to cut out my clear transparency. These templates are thick acrylic. You use them like a ruler. So I'm just going to put my clear tag template straight down on my clear transparency, and I'm going to use my Scotch knife to cut straight around the edge of that template and cut out my tag. So you can use either a tag or an ATC card to do this project. There's 4 embellishment trees on your sheet, so just cut out as many trees as you want. I'm just going to cut mine out using my craft knife, but you can use your scissors, whatever works for you. But cut them out nice and neat because you're going to use these on your card. Now we're going to start colouring our transparencies. I've got lettuce, sunshine yellow, red pepper, latte and rust. And I've also got the clean-up solution if I want to move some of the colour. So I want to make it a vintage Christmassy colour. So I might go latte first. I'm just going to splash all the colour on and some rust. And then add the lettuce green. So I want to still end up with some background transparency. Yellow. Look, I don't use alcohol inks every single day. So if you're an expert at alcohol inks, just do your thing. Red. This is the red pepper. And I'm going to use my spare card because I cut 3 across, and I'm just going to start moving these colours because I do want to get some you know, clear stuff showing through the back. I'm just going to start smushing it around. Pick it up and have a look. I use a needle to pick up my transparencies. That way I can see what's going on. So that's given me a lovely Christmas colour. You can see by my blotting sheet what that looks like. So if I put that there, you'll see I've got a lot of lovely transparency on the background. Same with this one here. That looks pretty good. Yeah, that looks lovely. So this one's turned out to be quite red. I'm going to use a little bit of this clean up solution to just move a little bit of that colour out of the way so it looks clear a bit. So the more you muck around with these colours, the more you have to do to them. So it's probably best to just leave them dry. Now, if you want to use a heat gun to dry, what I suggest is that you use it way up high. So if you're using a heat gun, use it way up here and use it on a gentle heat. So I'll be back when they're dry. For this section, you'll need a rubber stamp of your choice. Now, when you choose your rubber stamp, just make sure that it's not too big. Otherwise, you just cut it smaller. But just choose something that's going to go down the side. But I'm just going to go ahead and stamp this in black. I'm going to put this tree on here and see what it looks like. If you do a few extra, you've got something to pick from. Okay, so now I've got these. So you can either cut or tear. I don't want them too big. So now we've got those ready. We're going to do some embossing. So get your trees out and your embossing powder. For our embossing, I'm using the Versamark stamp pad and a Christmas green and a enhanced gold pearl for my embossing powders. So I'm going to just get my Christmas trees and press them. I'm going to use the opposite side because you might see a little bit of your black line from where you printed it out. So just press that on your ink pad. Do them all. You want them completely covered with this Versamark ink. So we've got that covered in ink, I hope. Now I'm going to get a little bit of the gold powder and sprinkle some here and there. So the gold is going to be little highlights on my tree. Just put it randomly wherever it goes and sticks. I'm working a little bit quick here because it's quite hot in Australia today and I don't want my embossing ink to dry. I'm going to go over it with the Christmas green all over all my trees. So my trees are now completely covered in the Christmas green. I'm just going to pick them up and brush that off. So you'll see that the gold has stayed behind and the green has stayed on top. Right, now I've got my tweezers. I'm going to hang on to my tree and use my heat gun to heat that up. That's a little hard to hang on to, so I'm going to do it straight on there. That's better. That's that one done. Right, now if you don't think that's enough coverage, you just let it cool down and do it again. I guess the best way to do this is to make sure it's got the proper coverage on the first go. Right, now we've got our little trees embossed. I'm just going to put a little bit of distress ink around the edges to make them pop a bit more. I'm going to use the Ranger archival ink in the black soot, just to give it a little bit of definition. And any of those white bits that were showing will now be gone. Okay, so now we're ready to put these together, and I'm just going to sort of put them like that. You can glue your tree on wherever you like. So use whatever glue you've got that you think will just glue this paper to your transparency sheet. You can glue it on the top, up high, or you can glue it down the bottom. Okay, so now I'm going to just put Merry Christmas on some white cardstock, and I'll be back. I'm just going to cut these sentiments out now. You can either cut them fussy cut, shape around each of the letters and the number, or you can cut them in a straight line, whichever way you like the look of. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the string on first. So I'm going to cut one piece off first and just put a little charm on it. Again, if you haven't got any Christmas charms like a tree or a bell, just use a cherub, a ballerina, a flower, a key, a star. It doesn't matter. Whatever you've got that's just going to look pretty hanging off the front of your card. I actually like the cherub, so I'm going to use the cherub first. I'm just going to dangle it on like that as if it was a tag. So I'll show you again what I've done. I've just looped the butcher's twine in there as if it was a tag. Then I've opened it up, and then I'm just going to hang my little cherub down like that, just over the tree, and open it up. Then I've got another piece of string and folded it in half and just set it there. I've let it twist, and I'm going to get my stapler. I staple one side down first. I find it easier to cut that off so that I can get my stapler in there. Then I pull it across and cut that off too. It's just too hard to try and get that to even up. So that makes it easier. Then I squish my staple with my pliers. Just makes it lay down flat. So those teeth at the back then are flat. Then once you've done that, just work out where you want your sentiment or the 25. So you choose which one you're going to do. Because this is a sticker, I just peel it off and place it down on an angle. So that's that one finished. See that lovely transparent? So I'll just go ahead and keep going here. Okay, so I've finished with all my embellishments. This tag here, I could put a hole in it later, but I'm going to decide when I go to put it in my journal. So I'm not sure whether I'll put a hole reinforcer in there or not. Don't they look cool? It's just something a little bit different. When you put your hand behind it, you can see through. It's going to look stunning in your journal. It's going to change colour no matter what page you put it on. So it's going to be much redder there. It's going to be greener if you put it on a green background. So it's going to take on whatever colour you put behind it. So here's this little one. When you've got the white behind it, you can see it. You can see it change colour when I put my hand there. So that's that one. I've got the tree up a bit higher. There's this one. Oh, my little cherub's fallen out. Here's this one with the little cherub on it. I've got the tree down a lot lower. And here's the one with a snowflake on it. Well, I do hope you've got some alcohol inks to have a play with this one today. It turned out adorable in the Christmas colours. You might be used to using your browns and your rusty colours. It's just nice to see the red, yellow and greens in a Christmas colour. Well, that's it for day 8, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 9. We're getting close to the end now. See you tomorrow.